Yeah, I'm Juha Uitto. I work with the Global Environment Facility, where I am the director of the Independent Evaluation Office. And the GEF is the oldest public financial mechanism for 5 environmental conventions, including the UN Convention on Climate Change, Biodiversity, land degradation, desertification, and 2 chemicals conventions. I've been in this position for 9 years now, since 2014, and I've been a full-time evaluator with the GEF and UNDP since 1999, so it's been a while. And my background is in environmental studies and geography, so I'm in a position that I really enjoy, because it combines the 2 passions of my life, is environment and evaluation. Yeah, I think this is a very central topic, and of course I say it because that's what I do, but also from a increasingly practical point of view. So we have the Sustainable Development Goals and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and in theory everybody always recognizes it, that it has the 3 pillars, economic, social, and environmental. But in practice, many countries and organizations still focus on the economic, and they then pay some attention to social aspects, but the environmental sustainability gets to be an afterthought, actually. So they don't get adequate balance between these 3 dimensions, and actually, instead of saying that they are the 3 pillars, I like the image of a sort of like a 3-layered cake, on top of which you have the economic, in the middle you have the social, and at the bottom you have the environmental bases, the whole biosphere and climate and oceans and water and everything is at the bottom. And basically, if the bottom layer collapses, the whole cake collapses, obviously. So you won't have the pleasure of this social and economic development either, if the environmental basis is gone. It's interesting, for example, the World Economic Forum, the Davos people, these are hard-nosed business people and so on, and they do an annual report on global risk, and the 2022 report of the 10 top risks, 5 are directly environmental. So there's a growing recognition that the environment is actually facing some very critical challenges that we need to address, and you can't have sustainability without doing that. So the point here is that this is very important, and human health and ecosystem health are really closely intertwined. So I think that there are basically 2 overarching things that I would like to say about this. And one is that I hope that people after this course will recognize how interlinked everything is. And I mean, interlinkages are both sort of like within the environmental domains and between environmental and human domains. So what I mean by that, so we can't treat climate change separately from ecosystem management and so on. Obviously, if you think about it, so climate biodiversity, water, land, all of that is very, very closely interlinked. Forests are key. So we can't anymore think about, so okay, we'll do biodiversity here and we do renewable energy there, but you have to recognize that these things are closely interlinked. And the same between then human activities and nature. And of course, all the drivers, you can say pretty categorically, all the drivers of global environmental change are in the human domain. It's urbanization, it's agriculture, food production is a very big thing here. So we have talked quite a lot about this, that you have to look at all of it in an integrated manner, and also recognize the fact that you may have trade-offs that you have to deal with, and as evaluators we have to see that when we evaluate something we have to be clear about it, that okay, here was say either a conscious choice between these two aspects, or it was an unconscious, unintended consequence or something. So unintended consequences are very important for evaluation also. And then maybe another thing is that there may be synergies also, and that's also wonderful when that happens. We all wish that we could benefit both the nature and the people. Now, what this leads to then is that we are promoting a systems approach. So you can't use the traditional evaluation approach where you look at an intervention, look at the project in isolation, and you look at its internal theory of change, and then you go check boxes that did it do what it set out to do, and did it produce the outputs and perhaps outcomes that it set out to do, because everything works in a context, and the context is very important there, and the context is both the natural environmental context, but it's also policies, it's markets, it's other projects, it's everything that happens in the place, and you can't just see the project as an isolated event there. So you have to take more of a systems approach to looking at evaluation, and especially whether the interventions that you are evaluating, whether they have an impact, whether they are actually making a dent in the bigger thing that they are trying to address, rather than just going through the motions. We are also firm believers in mixed methods, because you can't there's no such thing as a gold standard, and you can't understand what happened and why, usually by using only one source of information and data. So this is basically what I would hope that the participants would take from this workshop. We've had some very, very good discussions and lively discussions. Well, I think I've said it all from that point of view, that what we want to see happening is that the environmental dimensions and the coupled human natural systems are taken more prominently into account in all kinds of evaluations, not only in environmental evaluations, but basically everything that we do has environmental impacts. Everything that humans do, whether you do build infrastructure or you work on economic policy or whatever. So that I hope that everybody would pay attention at least to the environment. IPDET is a great opportunity to advance thinking in evaluation in general, and it's I've been involved. Now this is the second year here in Bern, but I was also involved a little bit in the earlier incarnation of IPDET, and I've seen it's so great. One of the greatest aspects is that it creates this family of evaluators and around the world who then stay in touch and become friends and will also collaborate and learn from each other then over the years. So it's really nice. So I'm very happy to be invited here and be part of this endeavor.